guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited to have you here. So in today's video, first off, you guys have probably noticed I'm not filming in my closet. So we finally have our furniture and I'm starting to get the room how I like it for my filming setup. So really excited about that. But besides that, today we are going to be looking into how much money I lost when I was in the top 2% of an MLM, specifically in Beachbody. So I know last week I did a video on this and I wasn't meaning for it to be a part 1 and a part 2, but after I was done with last week's video, I went and talked with my husband. I was like, babe, there's something I'm missing. Like, I, in last week's video, stated that I had lost $1,146 after my 2 years being in Beachbody. But I really sat down and I was like, there's something I'm missing. But I couldn't think about what the heck it was that I was missing. So me and my husband like sat down and we were like, okay, let's think about this. And we figured out the big 2 things that I forgot to talk about in last week's video that we find are very, very important to talk to anyone about that is in an MLM. Because these 2 things are like another hidden fee. It's another thing that they don't talk about when you're joining the MLM. The companies don't talk about it, and the MLM reps that are recruiting you don't talk about this aspect that I find to be very, very important. And those 2 things are signing up a spouse's account, a spouse, a mom, a dad, a grandma, grandpa, whatever, and then also doing ads. So I'm gonna talk about ads first because there's a lot that I need to go into with ads because I spent so much money on ads. It actually made me cringe. I had reached out to Isabella, she's another anti-MLM creator, and I reached out to her and she was like, bitch, I didn't even think about ads. She was like, I can't believe you lost that much. So first off, in any business, a lot of the times people will have to pay for advertisements. So whether that be on Facebook, whether that be on Instagram. So something to keep in mind is Facebook actually owns Instagram. So whenever you do an ad on Instagram, you have to go through Facebook to do that. Maybe you do ads on TikTok, or maybe you place ads on Google, whatever it may be. When you are a business owner, you have to pay for those ads. Another thing that business owners will do is reach out to influencers and pay them to talk about their products. So that's another way to go about it. But with the ads that I am talking about Instagram ads. When I was in my company, I was just that person who did not want to cold message people. I didn't want to reach out to random people on social media. It wasn't what I wanted to do. I mean, I have done it in the past, but it wasn't really something that I did a lot. So in replace of cold messaging, I would start doing ads so that people would just come to me and I wouldn't have to cold message them. But duh, I didn't think about this on my own. When I was in Beachbody, it was a big thing for the uplines to talk about doing ads. And something that I find really messed up is when you are an actual business owner, sometimes you do have to place ads. You do have to pay for advertisements, but you're the CEO. You're the business owner, and that's really the issue I have with it. And I want to mention this, yes, I did make the decision to start running ads. Yes, I made that adult-ass decision to do it, and I take full responsibility for listening to my uplines and listening to them say do ads. I understand that, but at the same time, this wasn't something that I was being told I was going to have to pay for or being told that I should do whenever I was signing up. So again, when you are a small business, it is normal for you to have to do ads or pay influencers. It's a normal thing. But when you are in an MLM, you're essentially an independent contractor. You should not, and I mean you should not, have to pay for ads to promote your employer, essentially. So you just shouldn't have to do it. It would, again, people in MLMs and companies like to always talk about Starbucks. So right here, don't come at me because I have a freaking plastic straw on this one. I apologize. But a lot of people like to compare it to things like Starbucks. Like, oh, it's the same thing as working in corporate. It's the same thing as working at Starbucks. The difference is, it really isn't. A Starbucks CEO, the CEO of Starbucks, isn't going to sit here and have Starbucks baristas paying for advertisements for Starbucks. Starbucks is going to do that on their own. So I find a big issue with the fact that MLM reps will be told by uplines to do advertisements for Beachbody or Monet or whatever company it may be, because the company should be doing those ads. Now again, I did ads a lot of the times because I did not want a cold message. So ads were a good way for me to do an ad, right? Those people would then come to me and I wouldn't have to cold message them. They would come to me for information. So I would feel a little bit better with the fact that I was essentially recruiting them or selling to them because they came to me first and I just gave them the information. But again, you should not have to do that in an MLM. Now, I did want to show an example ad that I already had on my phone. So this is an example ad just in case you are someone that comes across it. So I'm going to blur this person's face out, but at the top left corner, it is going to say sponsored. You can see these while you're scrolling through Instagram, or you can see them in your Instagram stories. Personally, I see them a lot in my Instagram stories. And what especially Beachbody coaches will do, coaches, quote unquote, what they will do is they will say something like this: now accepting applications. So it kind of looks like you're applying for a job, right? It'll say, I'm looking to see if this might be you. The team I'm looking for is hardworking, creative, and love sharing their lives on social media. They're interested in living a healthy lifestyle while helping others, blah, 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 blah. And then when you swipe up on the sponsored post, what will happen is you will end up filling out an application. Now again, I am someone who did this. I spent a lot of money on ads. It's kind of ridiculous. No, not even kind of. It's ridiculous. And another thing, one more thing before I actually show you guys how much money I spent on ads while I was in Beachbody for the 2 years, I just want to mention that whenever you do these ads, right, you're paying money. And a lot of people, when they're in an actual business or an actual business owner, an actual CEO, they're going to look at their return on investment. So they're going to place an ad. Their ad, maybe they paid $100 for it. Then they're going to see how much revenue they make and how much profit they make from that ad, because they want to see what is their return on investment. So they invested $100, how much are they getting in return from placing that ad? That is something I didn't really do. I didn't really pay attention to, was I making that money back? I just wanted to hit what was called Success Club, which I talked about in part 1. So after this part, you can definitely go and check out part 1 of how much money I lost when I was in Beachbody. But I wasn't really taking the time to look on my return of investment. And that's a really big deal, because that's what you should be doing if you're a business owner. If you are stating that when you're in an MLM, you're a business owner, that's what people should be doing. I'm not saying people aren't doing this. I'm just saying from my experience, a lot of people I knew weren't doing it because they were just trying to hit Success Club. They were just trying to make a commissions check, even if it was just $40. They weren't realizing how much money they were actually losing by placing all of these ads. So I have an Excel sheet and I'm kind of going to go through it with you guys because I was like, how fun? How much fun would this be? So as you guys can see on this Excel sheet, I'm not going to show the whole thing because it's ginormous, this sheet. So I, again, would place ads with Facebook. And here it shows these are ads placed all the way from 2018. I was a Beachbody coach from 2018 to 2020, the beginning of 2020, and then that's when I quit or canceled my Beachbody thing. So whenever you go over, you can see ad set lifetime budget. You guys, sometimes I would spend $150 on a 2-day ad. I would spend $200. I would spend $1 just to get my posts boosted and get more engagement. And this was really promoted upon uplines. I won't say so much that Carl Deichler, right, the CEO, would do that. I haven't seen someone like Carl Deichler come out here and say, oh, you should be placing ads. So in my opinion, I didn't really see him do that, or based on what I've seen from him, but that doesn't mean that it wasn't taught within Beachbody. But something that is very interesting, if you just have extra time on your hands, is there is a Team Beachbody Champions page video library, okay? And here, Team Beachbody, right, the people who control this YouTube channel, they will post a lot of things that Beachbody states is against the rules. They will post things like how to grow your Instagram, but then they'll do it in the wrong ways. So just my opinion, this shows, again, just my opinion, that Beachbody promotes that. They may not, corporate Beachbody may not be out here stating to do these things, but they have people promoting things like doing ads and how to essentially cheat Instagram and get followers by using third-party apps, and they put it on their Team Beachbody YouTube channel. So to me, that's a little sketchy, because if you are a business owner, in my opinion, you should be looking at what you're putting on your YouTube page, because if on your YouTube page, you are uploading things like how to use third-party apps to grow your social media, you're doing something that you know is against Instagram's rules and that people can get in trouble for, they can get their account shut down, but you're still essentially promoting that. Even though the MLM rep, the Beachbody rep, was the one doing the training, you're still promoting that. So do you see what I'm trying to say? So I have found on YouTube in general, I am actually going to pull it up right here, but it says Facebook Ads 101 for Beachbody coaches. There is a bunch of things on there on YouTube in general, but also on their account that, or their YouTube account, that makes me a little bit sketched out. So in total on ads, I spent over $3,700 within my 2 years as a Beachbody coach. That is a hard pill to swallow, because I already looked over how much money I've made in Beachbody. I've already looked over it. And I'm already at negative 1,146. And that just added negative 3,700 on top of that. And I mean over $3,700 worth of ads placed. And it's hard to look at that number. And I'm going to talk about this at the end. I'm going to give my top tips and what to do if you're in an MLM when it comes to your expenses and what to really look at, because I find that super important. And I didn't really go over that in my first part 1 video that I thought it would be perfect to go over it here. But you need to be looking at those things. You need to look on what's your return on your investment. Are you making money back? Are you not making money back from your ads? And I wasn't doing that. I was just looking at, oh, did I make a $40 paycheck this week? And I would just keep spending money on ads. And now look at me. If we want to do the math to see the exact number that I am negative at right now, I am so far at negative $4,846 with Beachbody. And that's where we're at. So besides ad placements, another thing that you can also think about is if you are a business owner and you are the CEO and you are doing ads, you're going to make all of that money back. So say you do an ad for $100 like I've been talking about. You do an ad for $100, right? Then you have 10 customers who come and they all spend 20 bucks. You're making all 20 of those dollars. If each person bought $20 worth of K-cups for their Keurig, you are going to make that money. That is going to go straight into your pocket. But you have to remember, when you're in an MLM, you're only making a percentage off each sale. So if you do a $100 ad, you need to have so many people sign up because you're only making 25, 30% commission off of those sales, and Beachbody's making the rest without doing anything. You're doing the advertisements for them. You're doing the work. You're even paying for advertisements. So this is a thing I see a lot. Let me know down below if you've seen any Beachbody coaches or other MLMs doing ads like this. I feel like I've seen it the most in Beachbody. And again, I was in Beachbody. I got trained all the time by higher ups telling me to do this. Again, I'm not saying everyone does, but yes, I was the individual who did not think hard enough, and I didn't take the time to look at if this was a smart choice. I just listened to the upline, because that's a thing that happens a lot in an MLM, which I'm going to talk about in a second, is you want to listen to the people who are successful, right? So I would just listen to the people above me because they had success. I wanted to see success, so I would do ads because they told me that would help me be successful. And it wasn't. Look at me, negative $4,000. So the second thing that I told you guys I wanted to talk about is signing up a spouse's account. Now again, if you don't have a spouse, a lot of the times what they'll tell you to do is just sign up your mom, your dad, your brother, your sister. They want you to have one fully controlled account. Now, I do have a lot of proof on this. I've done past videos where MLM reps in Beachbody will say, control a second account. Sign up your spouses. You're gonna make more money in the long run. You're gonna be able to double dip. You're gonna be able to do this and that. So I'll link some down below. I'll also link some up here in the info card. I don't remember which side it's on, but I have proof that they have said it, that high up top 10 Beachbody coaches say to sign up spouses so that you can make more money in the long run. So that's exactly what I fucking did. I signed up my husband. The first 2 weeks I was in my MLM. That again goes back to, yes, I'm an adult and I chose to do that, but I also listened to who was above me. So I do have my notes right here, so sorry if I keep looking at them. I just don't want to forget anything, but that's the problem, is you are going to listen to who's successful in life. Let's just think about myself. Say I have right now 8,000 YouTube subscribers, and someone who's just starting YouTube wants to know some tips on how I got to where I am. They may follow those tips, right? If I say, oh, you need to upload 2 days a week and have a niche and have this and have that and do this and do that, that person is probably going to do what I said because I got to where I am. They want to get to where I am and do better. So a lot of the times you're going to listen to anyone in life who's more successful than you, a college professor, this and that. It doesn't matter, because you want to see success. And this is what I find happen a lot in MLMs, is a lot of the times you end up doing things that you probably wouldn't do in everyday life because you just want to be successful. And that's where I was at. I was told over and over and over and over again, sign up your spouse. It's going to help you in the long run. You're going to make so much money. Just do it. Like, I'm just telling you, just do it. So I was like, okay, if these successful people are telling me to sign up my spouse, I'm going to sign him up. So this caused me to pay for his starter kit, which was over $160. And again, I'm going to get to how much money I spent on his account. But then that also left me in a really shitty situation because I kept having to make my husband's account active, and I kept having to, if I wanted him to hit Success Club, of, I would have to spend so much money. Again, in last week's video, I told you guys that in order to be an active coach with Beachbody, you have to spend $50 or more to equal your 50 PV to stay an active coach. So while I was paying for my account, I was like double paying because I was paying for his account. So a lot of the times you end up kind of fucking yourself because you do that, but your upline, I don't know, they just want you to sign people up, okay? I don't know what it is to it. Now, I will be honest, the coaches that are at the top 1% of Beachbody that have signed up their spouses are making so much money. Now, why? You're double dipping. Think about it. Say you have an account, you sign up your spouse's account. So it's you, your spouse is the first account that you sign up, and now you and your spouse have like 1,000 people under you, right? 1,000 people on your pyramid. Not saying it's pyramid scheme, I'm just saying pyramid so everybody knows, but you have both of them. Then that means on 2 accounts, you are making so much money. So rationally, I understood it. It makes a lot of sense because if you do get to the top 1%, you're gonna pocket that money. Now, what Beachbody does say is you can't control a spouse's account. You are not allowed to do that. So in order to not break the rules, your spouse has to control that account. He has to order things on his debit card. He has to control it, right? You can't sign up people under him, vice versa. Like, it just can't happen. You're not allowed to do that. If you do see someone that is doing that, just report them. But again, I took advice from the top 1% because they're seeing money from their account and their spouse's account. So I did it. And I was like, hey, shit, I'm gonna make it to the top 1% one day. So I might as well do it. So again, if you break the rules and you control your spouse's account, in the long run, you'll be able to double dip into 2 accounts, which is very smart. Is it against the rules? Yes. So do you do it? I say no, don't get caught. Now, when I was looking at my expenses for how much money I spent on his account, I noticed a recurring thing that would happen. At the end of each year, right, normally around November and December is the last months to qualify for the ranks of elite or premier. So both years that I was in Beachbody, towards the end of the year, my upline was trying to hit elite. She was trying to hit these ranks and she was really counting on me. And because of that, I needed a certain amount of coaches active under me. So I'm just gonna read this off my notes, but I essentially said I would keep his account active to help my upline rank advance, because in Beachbody, for your upline to rank advance, she needs a certain amount of active coaches, and so does her downline that are helping her hit that rank. So you guys can look it up, or I can do a video on it. Let me know down below. I can go over their rank system like Premier and Elite, and I can do all of that, but in order for your upline to hit Elite, you need a certain amount of active coaches. So again, to be active, each person needs to be spending at least $50+. So for me, I was buying money on my account, or not buying money, I was buying things on my account to keep myself active for my upline, and then my husband's account so that he can stay active to help my upline. And it's all like just a pyramid ripple effect, okay? So I noticed when I was looking at how much money I was spending, I was always spending a lot more money on the months of November and December than I was any other month of the year, because I needed to keep him active. Besides that, I would barely keep my husband active because I didn't need him to be active. I wasn't putting people under him. I wasn't making money off of his account. So I wouldn't do it until my upline essentially begged us to help her so that she could hit a rank. So yeah, again, looking back now, it was a dumbass decision. I did it. I just want to see success just like anyone else in an MLM does. Most people who are in MLMs also don't even know that only the top 1% even makes some money. So I did it because I just thought we could all be successful. So in total, with having to keep my husband's account active, I feel like it's not that bad. It's not that bad compared to like how much I spent on my account, but I spent around $876.57 in products on my husband's account to keep him active during my 2 years in Beachbody. Again, I spent a lot of money towards the end of the year to help my upline. I felt like I always owed her something, and that's something to think about if you're in an MLM. Don't ever feel like you owe your upline anything. Yes, they may have trained you. They may have gotten you to where you are. They may have told you what to do to sign people up. That doesn't mean that you owe anyone in life anything, and because I'm that individual, I'm just an individual that's super nice. I want success for everybody. I want to help people out. I don't care if they're the worst person on the planet. I just love helping people. I was just really gullible in the moment, and I did it. I did anything to help her hit her rank, and it's really crappy to see nice people get taken advantage of a little bit. So that's how much money that I spent on ads, and that's how much money I spent on my husband's account, around $880 on his account and around $3,700 on ads. Now, I have a couple of theories, and then I'm gonna tell you guys how much I lost in total from part 1 to this video based on my account, trips that I have taken because of Beachbody, on top of my husband's account and on top of ads, around the amount of money that I lost while I was in Beachbody. So I do have a couple theories though that I want to talk about first. So first and foremost, when you are in Beachbody specifically, and most MLMs that I see are pretty similar with this. So what happens in a lot of MLMs is you get paid weekly. I don't know if this is true, but you guys know me. I'm such a theory type of person. I like to just think about theories of why people do what they do or why companies do what they do. I don't know if it's like the psychology in me or what it may be that I think about all these theories, and I wish there was a way that I could test all of these theories and figure out the actual answer. But I have a theory that MLMs pay their distributors every week so that they don't really see how much money they're making and losing. Because if you're getting paid every week, you're not really thinking about the ads, how much you are spending on staying active. You're just looking at what's coming in. And I'm not saying everyone does this. Like clearly if you have a degree in finance and then you go into an MLM, you're gonna be paying attention to all of this stuff because you've been educated to do so. You have taken the liberty to go to school and to learn about those things. But a lot of people who know nothing about finance, they know nothing about return on investment, they know nothing about that, they really don't look into how much money they're spending versus losing. And I just have that theory. I would love to know what you guys think down below, that Beachbody does that or MLMs do that to make you believe that you're making a lot of money when in actuality you're not. So I have two things that I want to recommend before I get into how much money I actually lost. So the first thing that I would like to recommend to any MLM rep or anybody in general, especially ex-MLM reps, if you are an ex-MLM rep, I triple dog dare you to do this and then comment down below the amount of money that you get, because I am super curious about this. So the first thing that I recommend all MLMers should do is look at your money spent versus money made. I did talk about this a little bit in last week's video to really try and find your profit, which is money you spent versus money that you made. But I really want to put an emphasis on this. Please look at that. And I'll be honest, when I was in my MLM, this is funny to say, but I was scared. And it's crazy to me because if you ask my husband today, the type of person I am with money, if you ask my family, my mom, I am a money bitch, okay? I look at income, I look at what's coming in, what's going out. I am so big on credit, how to build your credit. Literally, all of my family members come to me with questions on how to do so. I am so big on looking at bills, how to save money if I want to save money, and all of the thing about money, that is what I do, okay? I am all about money and how to save it and do good with your money. Thank you, Mom. She taught me very well. But in my MLM, I didn't do that. I wasn't looking at that, and it's kind of like you're faded, your fucking mind is full of mush, and you're scared. Now, not everybody will do this, but for me, I was nervous. I was just flat out scared to look at the money that I was spending. I was scared to look at how much I was spending on ads. I was scared to look at how much product I was buying, so I wouldn't. I would just ignore it like it was never happening. I'd be like, it's just not happening. I'm just not paying. I'm just not buying anything. You know, I'm just making all this money that's coming in weekly when I wasn't. And it's really sad for me, someone who's so big on money, to get into the trap of not paying attention. So that's why I want to put an emphasis on this, because someone big on money, if I'm doing that, what about people who aren't big on money? What about people who easily lose money, or they don't really know a lot about credit, or they're 18 years old, right? Maybe you're 18 and you never learned anything about credit. You never learned about it in school. Your family never taught it to you. You get into an MLM. You don't even know like what profit really is. There are people like that out there getting into MLMs that don't really know return on investment, and they don't understand these terms. Now, I'm not saying everyone, or there are 18-year-olds that were like me and I was very big on money, but if someone who's big on money, got into the trap of not looking at what I was making versus what I was spending, that's a big problem. And it makes me feel as if people who aren't as big on money, maybe they're doing even worse. Maybe they are having an even bigger problem than I did. And again, I'm not trying to say anyone's like dumb or stupid or whatever if you did lose money. Like, that's not the case, because clearly I'm very smart when it comes to credit and stuff. And even myself got all sorts of messed up when it came to looking at my profits. So no, even the smartest humans, okay, even the smartest people may not look at it. And the second thing that I want all of us to do, along with if you're an ex-MLM rep or if you're a rep in general. But something that was brought to my attention that I did not mention in last week's video, and something that actually me and my friend Christina did when we got out of our MLMs, is we looked at and calculated how many hours we worked weekly on our MLM, and we divided it by our paycheck that week, because remember, we got paid every week, to see the amount of money we were making an hour. Okay, you guys, so when I was calculating this when I was filming, I don't know what I did with the numbers, but I totally jacked them up. So I found this salary to hourly calculator that I thought would be perfect if you guys wanted to just input how many hours you would work on your MLM weekly based on like your average pay that you would get weekly. So like I stated, if we were to put in here the weekly wage was $100, your daily wage would be $20, meaning hourly you would be working for $4 essentially an hour. And then again, at the bottom, it said hours per week. I put in 21 hours because like I said, if we used, for example, the fact that we would work 3 hours a day for 7 days of the week, that's what we would put in. So that's exactly what we put in. The weekly wage, $100, 21 hours for that week. So you were making $4 an hour, which in my opinion is totally unacceptable. So I recommend that everybody do that so that you can really see your worth. You can see your value, but you can also see when you were in your MLM, or if you're in your MLM right now, is it really worth it? If you're 4 years into an MLM, 5 years into an MLM, you're still at the bottom rank, you're not making any money, and you're working endlessly on your MLM, you have to think about that. Like, is that worth it? Or can you just go get a job? Can you get a job where you can work in the house? Can you start a blog post? Can you do Poshmark? Can you tutor people online if you're good at math or good at English or good at doing papers? There are so many other things that you could be doing to be making money that is worth what you're worth. So I really, really recommend you take your paycheck weekly, divide it by your hours to see how much you're getting paid each hour, because you will be astonished by how much you're not making. Now, clearly, if you are in the top percent of an MLM, you're probably making that money back. But I guarantee even those people at the top 1% went through years of making no money. They probably went through years of not getting their return on investment. They probably went through years of doing ads and staying active and getting to the point of where they're at right now. So you really have to think about that too, is we don't even know if someone at the top 1%, say someone hits the top 1% this year, right? We don't know how much that person has lost in the last 5 years that they were in the MLM, and are they still in the negative? If they took what they bought for the past 5 years and what they're making this year, are they still even making a profit? Was it worth it? Was those 5 years worth the work that you're putting in hourly to get to where you are now? So that's super important to look at. So here we go. Again, in part one, I showed you guys that I lost $1,146. Now today, I told you guys I lost over $3,700 in ads and over $880 on my husband's account. So in total, overall, I lost over $5,700. That's a lot of money. I wish I had that money in my bank account still. And that's really hard to look at. And that's why I do my videos. I don't do them to bring hate to anybody. I don't do them to be mean to anybody. I just do them with the hope that I can shed a light on things that haven't been shed lighting on. Let me back that up. I try and do my videos so that I could shed a light on things that haven't been. People that are ex-reps that or haven't talked about the money that they lost. Maybe they even are creators and they upload videos about MLMs, but they've never been in one. So they don't even know how much money could be lost or on what. So that's why I do what I do. And moving forward, I really want to focus on that. I want to focus on the MLMs. I want to focus on the experience of those that were in the MLMs. I want to focus on the companies. So I know in the past, I've done a lot of reaction videos, and I just feel like, yes, reaction videos can be good, but I just have been getting so many emails and DMs just being looked at as a hater. And that's hard. It's not easy to be looked at that way every day when you honestly are someone who's very positive. I'm a positive person who I like to bring light to the day. I like to make people laugh. I like to just be a light in someone's day. And that's really why I just want to continue to focus on the mission of spreading education and getting away from that title of being a hater, even though I know I'm not. So I thought I would just add that in here to let you guys know that I'm still doing content about this. I know know that I started uploading lifestyle content, but that's just because it's another passion of mine. And it can be really difficult to upload so many anti-MLM videos or videos on MLMs 3 days a week. And I upload 3 days a week. I've been uploading 3 days a week for over 4 months. I have over 60 videos about MLMs, reaction videos, educational videos, deep dives. Like, I have over 60 videos, and I just felt like it was time to bring just a little bit more light, a day where we can all just refresh. We can be like, okay, today we're not gonna focus on an MLM. Let's just have some fun. Let's just hang out. Let's just chat. So I do upload MLM style videos on Monday and Friday, and Wednesday I upload lifestyle videos. And I hope that you guys are here for the ride, whether you watch my lifestyle videos or you just stay for Monday and Fridays where I do MLM videos. So that's going to be all for this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed. I hope that a lot of people learn from my mistakes and the lessons that I try and teach in this video. And don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to comment. I would love to see if you're an ex-MLM rep or you are an MLM rep. What was your profit? Did you lose money? Did you make money? And I also want to know how much money you made an hour when you did all of the calculations that I talked about earlier. And also don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I have a huge goal of hitting 10K subscribers by the end of the year. I hate sharing my goals. I feel like super selfish for that, but I thought I would just add that in there because you guys are always saying that it's okay to talk about my goals. So I thought I would add that in there, and I will see you guys in Wednesday's video. Bye.